Hi. So recently, my mother-in-law pulled off something insane at my general reveal party, and I don't know what to make of it. I'm a couple of months along, and we wanted to reveal the baby's gender through a cake. But before we could get to doing that, Kendra, my mother-in-law, decided to release a bunch of blue balloons, declaring that it was a boy, when we really had no idea what it was going to be. We were having the party in our backyard, and for a second I was actually pretty scared because I thought that maybe she was telling the truth. Maybe she somehow knew and had decided to ruin the surprise for all of us. But then my husband told me that the doctor had only spoken to the baker. Nobody else knew, not even he knew, so he had no idea how Kendra had declared it so confidently that it was going to be a boy. So we asked her about it and she responded. She told us that she could feel it in her heart. It was not surprising at all because honestly, she's always been a bit eccentric. I've been married for 3 years and I've known his family for almost 5 years since we've been dating, and his mom has always been like that. She's always been a bit of an attention seeker, and she's a huge believer in all the manifestation pseudoscience. I don't have a problem with it. She can do whatever she wants, but I just think that my baby's gender reveal party was not the time and place for all of this. Anyway, after declaring that she could feel it in her heart that it was a boy, she told me that she had been conducting manifestation rituals and even her tarot reader had hinted at it. So she was confident that she was right. She started telling me that it was just fate and I was really annoyed and I wanted to kick her out. But I didn't want to ruin my own party, so I just bit my tongue and said nothing. Then she told us to go on and cut the cake so we could confirm what she already knew, and we did it. And the cake was pink on the inside, so you guys already know what that means. I was obviously very happy. I've always dreamed of having a little girl of my own, and my husband was thrilled. Everyone else was overjoyed with the exception of Kendra, who decided to put on a shocked face, and then a couple of seconds later she stormed out, muttering and grumbling. We didn't know what that was about, and we didn't want to waste our time going after her, so we chose to just ignore her. But then a couple of minutes later she came back in and she started yelling at me all of a sudden. I had no idea what went wrong, but then she started telling me that I must have been the one to tamper with fate, and that this baby is cursed now because of me, because I was acting skeptical, and now the forces of the universe have decided to reverse what they had planned for us. And everything was going to go wrong, all because of me and my skepticism. I honestly, genuinely wish that I was making all of this up, but I'm not. This is exactly what she said to me, and even in that moment, I literally want to get up and slap her on the face so that she would stop talking nonsense. Somehow, I held myself back and I told her that she was clearly not in the right state of mind right now, and that I would like for her to leave because she was ruining the party, and everything that she had said about the baby was just so insanely ridiculous and disturbing that I didn't want her around me at all. And she told me that she would gladly leave because now that the baby has been cursed, she doesn't want anything to do with that anyway. And neither does she want anything to do with me, because I'm the one responsible for all this. Then she walked out. My father-in-law followed, apologizing for her behavior, but it was too late. The evening was ruined anyway. It's been a couple of days instead, and thankfully people have been very nice about it and have been pretending like that didn't happen at all. But I know that it happened, and I've been furious. My husband has also cut off his mom entirely, and I think that's what has prompted her to try and apologize to me. She tried to call me up a couple of hours ago, but I declined it. And then she started texting me, saying that she was really sorry about her behavior and that she really wanted to meet me and make things right with me. When I did not respond to her, my father-in-law also called me up, and he told me that he felt like he owed us an explanation on his wife's behalf. He told me that she had always been a bit eccentric, but recently she had been acting a little more strange than usual. So he had consulted a psychiatrist, and she had been diagnosed with BPD, bipolar disorder. And since she's been finding it hard to come to terms with it, she's been avoiding taking her mood stabilizers, and that's part of the reason why she reacted like that the other day. Now, I don't know if any of that is true or not, but it's really not my problem, even if it is. What she did was just not acceptable, and I think I need some time and space to think things over. But my husband thinks that I should at least give it a chance and speak to her, even though I'm not going to do that right now. So I've been feeling kind of guilty about not wanting to give her a chance in spite of knowing about her mental condition. I don't know. This is just totally new and confusing for me, so I'm looking for some unbiased opinions on this. WIBTA if I refuse to talk to my mother-in-law after she had an angry public outburst at my baby's gender reveal party. Update 1. Okay, so there seems to be some sort of misunderstanding, and I would like to clear that up before I speak about anything else. First, my husband and I share a very good relationship. We are very open with each other, and I love him, and he loves me too. There has been absolutely no form of pressure from his end. He just made a suggestion to me, and that's why I spoke about it on this platform. I would like to reassure everyone that I'm not in the kind of marriage where his world is the last in any argument. And in fact, I would like to clarify that we are not even arguing about any of this. He has told me that he would like for me to meet his mother and speak to her. I totally understand where it's coming from because, after all, that is his family. However, he has not pressured me into agreeing to it, nor has he been fighting with me about this, because at the end of the day, he also knows that the final call has to be my own, and he respects me and my opinions. He respects my decisions, so I know that he'll not say or do anything that will hurt me. Now, with that out of the way, I would like to say that I decided to speak to him about what I was feeling, and I told him that I really did not want to see her at the moment. I'm pregnant right now. My hormones are in overdrive, and given the current situation, given whatever happened recently, I just don't think that it would be wise for me to go meet her because I just can't see anything good coming out of it. I told him that right now I just want to stay back home and I just want to relax. And whatever's happening with his mother, I'll deal with it later, but not right now. So I turned down the idea of meeting her anytime soon, and for now, I would just like for her to stay away from me because I think I've had enough for a while. Whatever happened the other day, I can understand that she must have had her reasons for her outburst, and I truly do feel bad about her mental condition, but honestly, I don't think I'm in the space of mind where I can accommodate that in my life, and I shouldn't have to be very honest. So yeah, that's what I feel. And I told my husband about it, and he said that that is completely my call, and that he respects whatever I decide for myself because he doesn't want me or the baby to suffer any sort of mental stress unnecessarily. He was very understanding about it, so that was that. My father-in-law, though, did not react the same way to my rejection. He kept trying to call me and text me. When I finally informed him that I would not be meeting Kendra, he started telling me that I was being very selfish, and it was pretty obvious that he didn't care whether I was meeting or not. It was all about the baby. He told me that I was denying her the right of being around her daughter-in-law during the pregnancy, something that all mother-in-laws deserve. And he said that he was aware of the fact that I had every intention of denying her the right to be around her grandchild when the baby was born as well. And he was not going to allow that to happen no matter what I planned. And that was just a very strange accusation because obviously I don't have any plans as such. In fact, I was not even planning on doing this in the beginning. It's just that the circumstances are such that the situation demands it. I don't want her stressing me out uselessly. And that's exactly what happened at the gender reveal party. I don't want a repeat of that. And he himself has admitted that she's not mentally stable right now. So why would I want somebody like that around me at the moment? He told me I should be a little more compassionate towards her because she's going through a lot. And I told her that she can have all my compassion and empathy, but that doesn't mean that I'll have to allow her to be around me because even I'm pregnant, I have my own stuff. I don't want to deal with this because I don't have to, since it's not my problem. At that moment in time, he started telling me that it definitely was my problem because we were family now, and that's how families should be. That is something that I have a huge problem with because of certain incidents that took place in the past. And because of that, I think it's very unfair for my father-in-law to be playing the family card in this situation. Because in the past, they've never really been very involved or concerned about me or my life. Yes, they definitely care about their son, and that's very apparent, but they've never really cared about me, and I've never expected them to. However, all of a sudden, just because I'm having a baby, they think that they can force his family thing on me and I'll be fine with it, even though they've always treated me as nothing but an appendage to their son. And I'm not complaining about that. I honestly couldn't care less. I was completely fine with having a civil relationship with his family, but nothing more. Because after all, they're not my parents. So I never expected them to treat me like their own daughter or anything. But all of a sudden, now that they have an expectation that I should be treating them like my own parents because we're family, isn't that unfair? In the past, there have been several incidents where it's been proven to me that they don't care about me much other than the fact that I am married to their son. Because I remember just a couple of months ago, before I got pregnant, I had asked them for help, but they had rejected me. I had hurt my ankle. It was not broken or fractured or anything, but I was still in a considerable amount of pain. And my husband was out on a business trip when it happened, and my parents were also not in town since they were on a cruise or something. I don't remember exactly what, but I remember that most people that I would usually rely on were not around, so I asked my in-laws if they could do some grocery shopping for me just for that day because I was running low, and it was actually around the time that I was heading out that I fell and hurt myself. But of course, I still had to get stuff done, so I asked them, and in the beginning my mother-in-law agreed. Later on, though, I waited around until 9 at night for them to show up with the groceries because I had even provided them with a list, and I was very surprised that they were running so late. So I had to ask my father-in-law, and on the phone call he told me that they had forgotten about it. He said that they planned on getting it done, but then one of their friends showed up, and by the time their friend left, they got too lazy, so they couldn't do it. And they couldn't even be bothered to inform me about it, so I could get someone else to do it. They were very casual about it as well, because they didn't think that they had been a bit insensitive, and I didn't make it into a big deal because, like I said, I don't expect much from them. I told my husband about it, though, and he said that he was a bit disappointed because it wouldn't have taken much for them to help me out there. Anyway, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And if we were family, like they claim now, they would have helped me out back then. And it's not just this. There have been many instances like this in the past. This is just one of them that I could remember off the top of my head. So anyway, I think you get my point. They've never treated me like family, so it's very ridiculous of them to expect me to do the same for them right now. I'm not going to prioritize anybody else's feelings above my own at this point in time. As harsh as it sounds to anyone else, but I think it's important for me to prioritize my own mental health because I'm pregnant, and it's important for me to be happy to have a happy and healthy pregnancy. I don't think that there is anything wrong with doing that. And if my father-in-law cannot accept that, then it's his problem. After the fight we had on the phone call, I have muted all notifications from him. And if he has any issues after this, then he can take it up with my husband. Because I'm not dealing with any of this anymore. I'm done. I'm grateful my husband understands me at the very least, because I'm pretty sure that in a situation like this, many women wouldn't even have their husbands by their side. I'm lucky enough to have somebody who understands me, who cares for me, who doesn't act like their family is the only thing that matters. So anyway, that's what's been happening until now, and I honestly just have no idea what to expect from the future, to be very honest. Update 2. Hey everybody, so it's been a couple of days since my last update, and my father-in-law had been trying to reach me. But since I had muted all notifications from him, I was not being alerted of any phone calls or messages from his end, and I had pretty much forgotten about it. I'm on maternity leave right now, and this is the only time that I don't have to work this hard. So I'm trying to make the most of it, and so I've tried my best to put it all out of my mind, and my husband has also been very helpful in supporting me. So we've been trying to move on from the incident, but I guess my father-in-law is not happy with the situation. And he's trying his best to keep it fresh in our minds. I don't know what he's actually trying to do, but that's just my guess. A couple of hours earlier, he showed up at our house, and when I opened the door, he started telling me that what I was doing was all very disrespectful to him, to my husband, and to my mother-in-law, who's going through so much mentally and is miserable on top of that because of my refusal to see her and forgive her. And apparently she's been crying almost every day because she's afraid that she won't get to see her grandbaby when it's born, because I won't let her. So my father-in-law took it upon himself to drive all the way to our place to speak to me in person because I was ignoring him. And then he told me that I absolutely had to speak to Kendra and reassure her that nothing of the sort was going to happen. And I told him that I was not going to do that. I said that he had to leave because my husband was not at home and he was acting very aggressive, and I didn't feel good about this. But instead, he just took out his phone and started calling his wife, saying that I absolutely had to speak to her and reassure her. And he was asking very little of me, and if I denied them that little as well, then it would just go to show how horrible I was as a person. Here's the thing. I would have had no problem if he had been a little polite with it, but he was acting as if he was entitled to this kind of thing, as if he could just barge into my house and order me, and I would have to be okay with it just because he was my father-in-law. I don't take that kind of behavior from anyone at all, and I don't know why he was expecting that I was just going to sit back and let him do whatever he wanted. I got really irritated and told him that I was not going to do anything that he asked of me, that I did not owe them anything at all, and then I slammed the door shut right in his face. He had been standing on the porch. He hadn't exactly come in, but when I shut the door, he started banging on the door and saying that I had to let him in, and it was very disrespectful of me to shut him out like that. When I didn't respond, he told me that he would be calling his son and informing him of my behavior because this was just not acceptable, and I would have to face the consequences of this later on. I don't know why he said that, but I knew that I didn't have to face any sort of consequences at all because my husband came back home and all he did was just comfort me. I didn't even want to call him because I didn't want to disturb him while he was at work. I'm pretty sure that it was his dad who had called him, and he told me that he had dealt with the problem. I asked him to tell me exactly what happened, but he told me that he didn't want me to worry unnecessarily and just reassured me that nobody from the family would be bothering me again anytime soon. So I'm assuming that his father must have received an earful, and I'm really hoping that it's effective in keeping him away because I really don't need any more trouble right now. Update 3. So it's been a couple of weeks since my last update, and in the meantime, I was finally able to find out exactly what went down between my husband and his father. Basically, the day that the incident took place, I didn't call my husband, but my father-in-law did and informed him of everything, and just as I expected, my husband gave his father an earful about bothering me and trying to push me around. My father-in-law had expected my husband to push back against me, but instead his whole plan had backfired, and instead of getting me in trouble with my husband, he himself ended up getting into a fight with my husband. And it was so bad that my father-in-law promised him that he and Kendra would not be visiting or speaking to us anytime soon, not even after the baby was born. And if we wanted them to be involved in our baby's life, then we would have to apologize for our horrible behavior towards them. Of course, that's not happening because I don't think we have anything to feel sorry about. So the past couple of weeks have been pretty peaceful because they've left us alone. And they think that they're punishing us, but this is exactly what we wanted. But anyway, that didn't last for long because today in the morning I received a message from Kendra. I have blocked both of them, so she used a new email ID to reach out to me, and I thought that she was going to apologize again. But instead, she said that she knew exactly what I was up to, and she ranted about how I was trying to turn her own son against her, and how I was going to fail miserably once her son realized that I was not good for him, and I was only trying to isolate him from his family. I don't know if this is the result of her mental illness or whatever, or if that's even real or not, but I do know for a fact that I'm not going to bother myself with it. After all, she's entitled to her opinion, and if she thinks that her son is not capable of making his own decisions as a grown man and is so easy to influence and manipulate, then that's her opinion and I'm not going to bother to change her. I know my husband. I know that he's supportive of me to the extent where he can even go against his own parents, and I'm very proud of him for that. If they are in denial of that, then that's really not my problem to solve. I actually feel sorry for them because what they are doing right now is just ensuring that after my daughter is born, they won't get to see her for a considerable amount of time because I don't want these people around. They've been extremely negative and have gone out of their way to make me feel bad for the past couple of weeks, and it's really enough now. I've had it with them, and I'm definitely not going to allow them to be anywhere near me in the later stages of my pregnancy or after the baby's born. And I know that my husband feels the same way. Update 4. Hey everyone, so it's been a couple of months since my last update, and guess what? I went into labor last week and I finally had my daughter. I've never been happier. My husband and I have been feeling like we're living in some sort of dream for the past couple of days, and even though it's been a lot of hard work, it all pays off when we look at her. It's just been wonderful, and I can't wait for her to grow up, and at the same time, I want her to stay this little always. I don't even know how to explain it, but yes, I'm very happy. That's not what I'm here to talk about, though. I just want to get something off my chest. So when I went into labor on that day, obviously the only people who were informed were my parents, my husband and my sister. They were the only people who I wanted around me during and after the process. And that's exactly how it went, and I was really relieved. 2 days later, we made the announcement on Facebook that we had welcomed our baby girl into the world, and of course I'm guessing some nosy relative sent it to his parents. So they found out, and literally just 2 days after I gave birth. They don't know about our house, demanding to see their granddaughter even though they themselves had said that they were not going to forgive us until we apologized. But anyway, my husband refused to let them see me or the baby because I was still pretty exhausted, both physically and emotionally, and he didn't think that it would be a good idea, and they didn't take that kindly. They started accusing my husband of not caring about his own parents, of falling for my manipulation, and of being a complete fool because of me. They think that I'm some kind of cunning, expert manipulator who's trying to steal him from his family, for God knows what reason. I mean, even if I'm doing something like that, I would have to have a reason, right? Without any motive, why would I be doing anything like this? But they don't have an answer for that. So they just have their accusations that they've been flinging around, and my husband nipped it in the bud by threatening to call the police when they refused to budge. So they eventually had to leave without seeing me. However, it has brought up some concerns because we don't know if they're going to stop at this. But right now, we're kind of worried, and I'm trying not to get too stressed out, but it's slightly concerning since their behavior has been anything but normal until recently. So we really don't know what to expect. Update 5. Hey, so we have a bit of news for you guys. It's been 2 months since my last update, and last week, even though we had started to believe that maybe my in-laws were over this whole thing and would not try to bother us again, we were proven wrong yet again. And this time the situation kind of took a turn for the worse. Because when they tried to visit and my husband said that they would only be invited in if they apologized to me first, they decided to start yelling at my husband, and my father-in-law actually slapped my husband across his face. Like, I can understand that he's his father, but that doesn't give him the license to slap a full-grown man. And we have that on a security footage, so we have decided to file for a restraining order against them. And even on that day, we called the cops and decided to press charges because this was just not acceptable. Anyway, not only are we going for the restraining order, we are also considering moving into a bigger house, and I think it was a long time coming. This was just a catalyst for everything. What happened the other day was shocking, but at least they show their true colors now. Because I've spoken about it to a couple of people, and now the rest of the family doesn't want to talk to my in-laws at all. And they won't be getting to see their grandchild, so I guess they just seal their own destiny with that move. But this has all brought my husband and I closer together, and I'm very grateful for that. And we're going to get through this together. Thank you for all the support, guys. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.